Welcome back to the channel. A big fight coming up. Some of my thoughts. In what would be one of the biggest super fights in boxing history, the idea of Terence "Bud" Crawford stepping into the ring with Saul Canelo Alvarez stirs excitement, speculation, and intense debate. Both men are generational talents, Canelo with his superstar aura, a decorated resume, and devastating body punching, Crawford with his unmatched versatility, fight IQ, and perfect record. But when you analyze the current landscape, their fighting styles, and where each fighter is at this stage in their career, it becomes increasingly clear. Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez. Let's break down why. One, styles make fights, and Crawford's style is a nightmare for Canelo. Crawford is a master of adaptability. He can switch from orthodox to southpaw seamlessly, often in the same round, and use angles that confuse even elite opponents. He doesn't just fight. You're solving a constantly evolving puzzle every round. Canelo, on the other hand, has a more flat-footed, pressure-based style. Though he's refined and sharp, his footwork is not nearly as fluid or agile as Crawford's. Against slick movers like Erislandy Lara, Floyd Mayweather, and even Dimitri Bivol, Canelo struggled. Those fights showed that lateral movement, quick counters, and defensive versatility frustrate and neutralize his offense. Crawford arguably does all of that better than anyone in boxing today. 2, decline of Canelo's athletic prime. Canelo Alvarez is still dangerous, but he's no longer in his peak form. His output has declined, his head movement isn't as sharp, and his stamina dips in the later rounds. Against Dimitri Bivol, he was outclassed. Against John Ryder, he won convincingly, but not dominantly. Even in the Jermell Charlo fight, he couldn't finish an undersized opponent who moved cautiously and defensively for 12 rounds. Crawford, on the other hand, seems to be aging like fine wine. His dismantling of Errol Spence Jr. was a career-defining performance. He didn't just win, he dominated. His reflexes are intact, his timing is surgical, and his killer instinct remains unmatched. 3, Crawford's mental game and IQ. Few fighters are as cold, calm, and calculated as Crawford. He doesn't waste punches. He reads his opponent like a chess master, and once he sees a weakness, he exploits it mercilessly. Against Spence, a pressure fighter with physical advantages, Crawford stayed in the pocket, broke him down, and made him look ordinary. Canelo may have more big-stage experience, but mentally, he hasn't had to make as many in-fight adjustments. He has always relied on his brute strength, counterpunching, and timing to control opponents. But when those tools fail, as they did versus Bivol and Mayweather, he can look stuck. Crawford wouldn't be rattled by the bright lights or Canelo's power. He's too composed, too intelligent, and too fearless. 4, speed and timing advantage. At 168 pounds, where this hypothetical matchup would likely take place, Canelo is the naturally bigger man. But Crawford has proven power across divisions and brings something Canelo hasn't seen in years: elite speed and timing. Crawford's punches aren't just fast, they're precise. He lands shots you don't see coming, and by the time you adjust, it's too late. Canelo's reflexes and defense are good, but he's hittable, especially when opponents punch between his rhythm. A sharp, fast southpaw like Crawford can beat him to the punch, disrupt his timing, and frustrate him over 12 rounds. 5, footwork and conditioning. Footwork is where Crawford would separate himself. Canelo tends to stalk his prey and plant his feet to land heavy shots. But against a mobile, elusive fighter like Crawford, that strategy backfires. Bud can circle, jab, pivot, and move for 12 rounds, and he gets stronger as the fight goes on. Canelo often fades in the later rounds when he doesn't get a knockout early. Crawford, however, remains fresh, alert, and aggressive from round 1 to 12. This difference in conditioning and mobility gives Crawford a clear edge in a drawn-out chess match. 6, Crawford's killer instinct. Crawford doesn't just beat you, he humiliates and finishes you. Of his 40 wins, 31 have come by knockout. And we're not talking about club fighters. He stops elite opponents. His ability to close the show when he smells blood is second to none in modern boxing. Canelo has an iron chin and immense toughness, but he's been rocked before. If Crawford sees an opening, he won't hesitate to finish the job. He has that mean streak that separates good fighters from legendary ones. 7 psychological edge and legacy stakes. Crawford is chasing greatness. He's already unified at 140, conquered 147, and is hunting for immortality. His hunger and legacy-driven mindset contrast with a Canelo who, while still ambitious, has already achieved generational wealth and fame. In a sport where motivation matters, that edge favors Crawford. Conclusion: the torch is passed. While Canelo Alvarez remains a legend, the time is right for a changing of the guard. Crawford is peaking at precisely the moment Canelo is slowing down. Skill for skill, Bud brings more tools, more hunger, and a style tailor-made to neutralize Canelo's offense. The fight would be close early. Canelo might even win a couple of rounds with body shots and pressure. But as the fight progresses, Crawford would begin to dissect him, picking his shots, pivoting out of danger, and landing clean, effective punches. By the final bell, or perhaps even before, it would be clear. Terence Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez, not because Canelo is weak, but because Bud is that special. And in doing so, he would etch his name into boxing's pantheon of all-time greats.